In the meantime, almost everybody agrees that law enforcement officers should be held to the highest possible standards, especially the men and women who are hired to protect our kids.
Before investigator Brittany Costello uncovered evidence, the state's largest school district is lowering the bar, welcoming officers not only once accused of serious crimes, but at least one who is being investigated by the state for misconduct right now.
There are officers around the state who get attention for the wrong reason. From Farmington to Belen, 4 Investigates exposed a trend. Officers accused of misconduct who find a way to stay one step ahead of accountability.
What we want to avoid is police officers who are being investigated for misconduct, skipping from one agency to the next.
Sonia Chavez is the director of New Mexico's Law Enforcement Academy, the only agency that can strip a police officer's certification.
Despite the fact that the majority of our police officers are amazing and abide by the rules every day, there's a small percentage who choose unwisely. And unfortunately, those are the ones who garner all the attention. And by nature of that, the public loses trust in all the others.
Some of those officers have found a new home in school.
Do you think these questionable hires send a message that this agency welcomes troubled officers?
Not at all. No, that is not correct. And like I said, these are good officers. They work. They do the right thing. Things have happened. You're right. I mean, we can't deny that, but there's two sides, and there's facts to these cases.
Albuquerque Police Chief Steve Gallegos knows some cases well.
Did you get a call from us?
Yeah.
Take Officer Isaac Martinez.
We have an officer, works at a school. His wife, or soon-to-be ex-wife, came in this morning.
Okay.
And made allegations that they'll go back.
He was on duty with APS in 2019 when the department called APD to investigate a domestic violence claim.
You wish to talk to me now.
Prosecutors dismissed that case and he left APS for Cuba Police. But within 2 years, the chief there filed an LEA 90 saying Martinez didn't disclose all of his criminal history. That includes a DWI conviction and a DWI arrest when he was a Rio Arriba County Sheriff's deputy. His breathalyzer test came back at 3 times the legal limit. There are also 2 dismissed charges of battery. APS hired him back.
Were you aware that he had a pending LEA 90 when he was hired?
He was working here when that LEA 90 occurred.
But according to records, he was hired with APS 2 weeks after the Cuba misconduct report. And those allegations were enough for the state board to suspend Martinez's certification for 6 months. But APS police kept him on the job.
What was he doing during that time?
He did a whole lot of things. I mean, he literally sat at the front desk and checked people in. He helped the officers with running reports down to the DA's office. He guided people for badges. He actually even did this, made badges.
Do you think that that is a valuable use of taxpayer dollars to fund his suspension?
If it were a revocation where he was not going to get his certification back, by all means, he would have not continued employment. But the fact that he was going, and we were guaranteed that he was going to get his certification back after the 180-day suspension, yes, it is a good value. It is a good way to spend taxpayer dollars.
It may well happen again. Right now, another APS police officer is awaiting the outcome of a state investigation into his conduct.
He came in this unit.
Yeah.
He came to his house.
When Las Vegas police charged former New Mexico State Police Sergeant Kevin Kiner with rape while on the clock.
When you picked her up, were you in your personal or were you in the unit?
No, I was still at work.
State police submitted a misconduct report. Prosecutors dismissed the criminal case for now.
The LEA 90, though, is still being investigated. That investigation is not closed.
Yes, his certification is still good, by the way.
And Kiner is still an APS cop. When the state wraps its investigation, the report will finally be easy to find. This year, the State Law Enforcement Academy released its new misconduct database.
It also is reassurance to the public that we're doing everything we can to ensure that we're properly investigating police misconduct, that they have the opportunity to see themselves who's being investigated. And all those are just, positive steps to help tighten up this system.
APS Police Chief Steve Gallegos stands by his officers. While he admits APS police often operate out of the public eye, he says it's not without appropriate supervision.
We monitor our officers very closely. We have supervisors over every single officer. Nobody acts independently without us knowing about it.
Now, so can parents, teachers, and even students themselves. Brittany Costello, 4 Investigates.